Hello, welcome to the 2026 Southern Arizona Home Show Exhibitor webinar. We are going to take you through the basics and some more details on exhibiting in our home show coming up in March. I am Lucy Ferguson, your show manager, and on this call is Hannah Gilbert Egley, your show coordinator. Feel free to say hello, Hannah.
Hi, everyone.
Lovely. Before we get into it, we'll thank our sponsors and partners for the show. First Impression Ironworks, Renewal by Anderson, H2O Concepts, The Workman Company, Pathway for Paws, New Flow, American Furniture Warehouse, MMG Arizona, Steamy Concepts, Trueline Turf, Children's Entrepreneur Market, Tough Shed, and the BBB. Thank you all very much. Oh, and of course, Tucson Doggy Doors. And if you are curious on how you can become a sponsor or a partner, here are a few sponsorships we still have left. For those aisle sponsors, they do tend to go pretty quickly. We have about 5 left at the time of this recording. And if you're interested in being a partner with the show, reach out to Hannah or myself. And Hannah, if you'll take them through what we'll be doing today.
Absolutely. So today's agenda is pretty straightforward. We're going to talk about a show overview, and we'll also go over the what to do. So before the show, what to do during move-in, during the show, and during move-out. So a little overview of the show, what we like to coin our highlights. So our spring celebrity this year is going to be Brady Bunch's very own Christopher Knight. We're also going to launch our first annual Cactus Cup. So we've invited a couple of landscapers to build out the very best putting green that they can. And we're going to let the attendees coin the winner of the first annual Cactus Cup at the spring show. We're also going to host the youthful minds of Tucson. So our children's entrepreneurial market. It is held only Sunday. But we're going to have up to, I believe it's 50 of Tucson's or in Arizona's youngest minds coming out to just tap into that entrepreneurial spirit. And again, we are going to have our Petopia, where pet adoptions will be held all weekend long. Kind of continuing on with the show overview, here's a little rundown of our ticket prices and the show hours. So box office, adults are $18 and children 12 and under are free. There are some special pricing and discounts happening throughout the weekend. Free admission for seniors, and that's 65 plus on Friday, March 27th. And free admission for all active and retired military, first responders, and teachers on Sunday, March 29th. And my favorite show hours are Dolly Parton hours. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the event is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And how we market this lovely show of ours, we do spend a good amount in marketing, about $158,000. That goes into TV, radio, and digital. And with that digital, it does include OTT ads, which are ads that air during your streaming services, and also YouTube ads. So this is on top of our already very robust social media campaign as well. And the first thing you should do before the show is access your exhibitor kit. You can see the link right there in orange. You can also find it on the website right there, just the general southernazhomeshow.com website. There's a tab for it, and you can also scan that QR code. So a few different ways to access it. You do want to check that before the show. I can't stress that enough. Everything we are about to go over and more is going to be on there. And odds are, if you do have a question you'd like to ask us, which you are always more than welcome to, but odds are, if you have a question, the answer is already on the exhibitor kit. We do try to form it around that exact thing. And Hannah, if you would take them through how to use their comp tickets.
Absolutely. So your comp ticket voucher looks like the ticket here on your screen. You'll receive an email a comp ticket voucher that looks exactly like that. Share that with 20 customers via email or as a printed copy. They are welcome just to print that and bring a copy straight to the box office, and we'll get your guest in. Printed vouchers can be used as actual tickets for the show. So again, if they want to print those vouchers, they are more than welcome to, or just show your tablet or your iPhone or your screen to the ticket takers, and they will accept that as well. So temporary food licensing and sampling. Any exhibitor offering samples at the show must be approved by both show management and the Tucson Convention Center first. Temporary food permits are required from the Pima County Health Department. The link can be found on that exhibitor kit. And if you have any sort of questions, guys, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly. My email is hannahg@mpeshows.com, and my direct office line is 801-456-7489. This is another big question that we get, are how to order those exhibitor services. So electricity, gas, water, telephone, internet. You will want to reach out to Commonwealth Expo. Their information is directly on that exhibitor kit, and you can get in contact with the Commonwealth team, and they'll be able to take care of you as soon as they are able to. Do take advantage of the some discount savings. That deadline is run all the way through March 10th. Now, gems, another big one that we get questions on. If you have questions or you need help with booth furnishings, you need carpet or under padding, you need signs or graphics created or hung, forklift services, you will want to contact our show decorator, and that is Gems. They are also offering a discount, and that deadline ends March 9th.
Lovely. And that forklift service is extra important because you cannot bring in your own forklift. The only forklift allowed to be operated inside the show is going to be the one you rent from Gems. And another thing to do before the show is enhance your exhibitor listing. So whenever you booked your booth, within 24 hours, you received an email from our system saying enhance your online listing. And that link can be used repeatedly until the Friday the show opens. And if you can't find that email because you booked your booth months ago, it's probably very buried. We can always resend it to you. Just email myself or Hannah. There's Hannah's email again. Because the difference between an enhanced listing and a basic listing is pretty big. On the left, you can see a very nicely done enhanced listing. They have their logo, they have their socials linked. They even linked a YouTube video, which if you are going to link a video, it does have to be YouTube. But below that, they have their company description and their show specials. If you're going to add one thing to your listing, have it be a show special because that also gets you listed elsewhere on the show's website. And then on the right is just your basic listing. So this is what you get automatically once your contract is signed for the show. It lists your booth number, your website, and your company name. On the one on the left is a bit snazzier, and you've already paid for your listing, so there's no difference in cost to enhance it versus leaving it basic. And another thing to know before the show is what comes with your booth. Well, it's pretty much your pipe and drape and the space of the booth size that you purchased. So if you have a back wall, you're going to have an 8-foot pipe and drape behind you, and then you'll have 3-foot high pipe and drape on the side to separate you from your neighbors. Things like electric, table, chairs, flooring, water are not included with your booth space. If you do need those, you can rent them from the surfaces, or you can also bring in your own flooring, tables, chairs, etc., of course. Another thing with that pipe and drape behind you, so that once again, that back pipe and drape is 8 feet tall, 8 feet tall. You cannot exceed that in your booth height with your displays unless you are either 400 square feet or larger or on a perimeter wall. So your booth height cannot exceed 8 feet unless you are a larger booth, 20 by 20 or bigger, or on a perimeter wall. And then this is our move-in map. So it is coordinated out by day. So the location of your booth matters. And it depends on which day you're able to drive in. So just make sure to read that carefully before the show, because if you cannot move in early and you cannot drive in late. So once again, if you need to drive up to your booth space, please check the move-in map. And then where to park during move-in. So during the move-in and move-out times, it is free parking around the convention center. And you can, depending on where you're at, you can drive into the center until Thursday at 2 p.m. As of Thursday at 2, we do start rolling out the aisle carpeting, and at which point no more vehicles are allowed in the building. And once you are done, if you have driven into the building and you need to park your car, you can park in lot B. But that is only available, that parking lot is only available to exhibitors during move-in days or move out. And so here's more of a visual for you. So if you're in the main exhibit hall, You can drive and park on the fire ramp if you don't need to drive in, but you don't necessarily want to carry your stuff a long ways. You can park in the fire ramp right there and unload and then leave your vehicle. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot of space there, so it does get backed up during the busiest times of move-in. So you can also park in lot B and unload your vehicle. Now, if you're one of the booths in the ballroom, you're going to want to use this circle drive next to the entrance doors. So that's going to be a much shorter route for you. There is no driving into the ballroom. It is a carpeted room, so you cannot drive up to your booth space, but you can get pretty dang close to unload. And Hannah, if you'd go over the layout.
Sure. Again, so kind of some things to keep in mind during that move-in process. This is our layout, similar to kind of the move-in map we just reviewed with you. Our show office hours are listed as below. We'll be there Tuesday, 8 a.m. through 7 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday, same hours, 8 to 7 p.m. Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Saturday, 8 to 6. Sunday, we'll close it up 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. As you can see up here, our show office is indicated right there. That's where you'll want to come check in with us and obtain your exhibitor badges. GEMS, they will have a kiosk set up on the main exhibit hall floors. That is where if you have any sort of questions regarding any sort of table or flooring or chair rentals, they will be the folks to take care of you over in that kiosk. And of course, we have our main entrance up over here that leads into the grand ballroom into the show. And like I said in the previous slide, where to pick up your exhibitor badges. So you'll want to stop by the show office and pick up your badges with the team, and that's where we'll check you in. You can pick them all at once, or you can certainly leave them at the show desk for your team to pick up later, or when it's time for them to check in for their shift. Your exhibitor badges will be how you access the show floor Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You do not need your exhibitor badges during that move-in process, but once that show kicks off Friday at 9 a.m., you and your team will need those exhibitor badges visible at all times. So your allotted badges depend on the size of your booth. So if you have a 100 to 300 square foot space, you get up to 5 badges. If you have a 400 plus square foot space, you get up to 10. And your comp tickets, please, folks, they are not to be used in place of an exhibitor badge. I promise us at the show office, we don't bite. So if you do need to ask for a few extra, don't hesitate to do so. But we just please do not use your comp tickets in lieu of an exhibitor badge. So if you did not order from the building or GEMS ahead of time, that is A-okay. You can do that on site. There is an increased rate. That's why we always like to just give you guys that heads up of those deadline dates, just so you could take advantage of saving a few coin here and there. But if you need to do it during the move-in process, again, the kiosk will be available for you to go and speak with a representative, and they'll get you squared away. Again, they will have those desks set up behind the booths along the east wall, that orange section marked in the previous map. And you will not be able to order these from us. This is handled through Commonwealth Electric and GEMS, and they have their own teams that will handle these requests. Unfortunately, if you do come up to the show office, we will point you down to where those kiosks are located.
And Commonwealth does have its own office in the building. It's just right down the hall from where the show office is. And then during move-in, please know the booth rules. Now, these are not all of our booth rules, but these are the most commonly broken ones. All booths must have flooring, unless you are a ballroom booth. The ballroom is already carpeted. You do not need booth. Any other booths, which is about 85% of you, you must have flooring. Your booth height cannot exceed that 8 feet limit unless you are 400 square feet or larger or against a perimeter wall. And you cannot break down your booth until the show is fully closed as of 5 p.m. on Sunday. Once again, you cannot break down your booth until 5 p.m. on Sunday. And we do not allow any pop-up tents. We're an indoor event. You don't need them. And then another during move-in, and also just preferably during the entire show, is do try to prevent any electrical fires. These are the guidelines from the fire marshal. Please use surge protectors. Use only plugs with grounds. The ground is that third prong on the bottom. Know the size of what you're powering to what you're using, and no daisy chaining. We've all done this. It's when you connect multiple power cords to make a longer cord. That is a no-no and a fire hazard. And during the show, dues to exhibit like an expert, use your floor covering to cover your entire booth space. Stay within your contracted space. This means if you have rented a 10 by 10 space, you stay within that 10 by 10. You do not go into the aisle to sell. If you're in the aisle talking to attendees, that is attendee repellent. And also it usually upsets your neighbors and then they tell us and we come talk to you. Do professionally skirt all your tables. So your skirting does need to reach the floor and be on all four sides, or at least all visible sides. Use professionally made signage, nothing handmade, and do staff your booth during all show hours. And those show hours are nice and easy to remember. Just think Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. And then being a successful exhibitor. So your booth location does matter. The ones near the entrance do tend to go very quickly at renewals. Be approachable in your booth space. Set it up to invite people inside. Leave space in your booth for attendees to come into it. And then display and focus on what you'd like to sell. We have a lot of, say, remodelers in the show. It's a primary core category, and the remodelers cover a lot of areas, but you should focus on maybe your 3 or 4 that you want to sell the most and that are probably the most profitable for you. People want a consultant, not a salesperson. So this leads directly into the next one. Ask questions and listen to what your potential customers are saying. These people are coming to you with ideas, or some ideas are really fleshed out. Some ideas are in their infancy. Listen and talk to them. Don't just try to go for the sale immediately. Have a goal and measure your success. So whether or not you're simply gathering info for leads, you're setting appointments, have a goal so you know how successful the show was for you. And of course, any of those leads and appointments that you get, follow up. It never fails that we get attendees after the show asking about such and such company because they were trying to set an appointment and they haven't heard from them since the show. And then as far as a booth setup, this is an example from a different show, but it is a very good one. So as you can see, their flooring is there, but there's still space for attendees to come in. Their display is professional and it's obvious what the company does. You have a window display on the left. You have their signage displaying more of what their services are. The signage is clearly made and professionally done. And once again, the flooring and the space for attendees to come into your booth space. If an attendee is inside your booth space, you have doubled your likelihood of getting that lead or appointment from them. And what to do during the show. Exhibitors are not allowed to park in Lot B during the show days. The show itself buys out that lot from the convention center for the attendees and for the attendees only. What the exhibitors can do, if you'd like free parking, there are other paid lots around the building that you are more than welcome to use, but if you'd like to use free parking, you can go over to the Ramada and park there. We will have a shuttle running constantly to take you there and back. The shuttle will start 1 hour before the show opens each day and go up until 30 minutes after the show closes. And then during move out, vehicles will not be allowed to drive into the convention center until about 8 p.m. on Sunday or until the aisle carpeting is all rolled up. Until that aisle carpet is all lifted and out of the way, it is hand cart and carry only. And we do need all exhibits and vehicles to be 100% removed from the building no later than 12 p.m. on Monday. That is Monday, March 30th. That's the Monday right after the show. And once again, you may not start breaking down your exhibit space until the show is closed 5 p.m. on Sunday. And last but definitely not least, please don't fall for any scams. They unfortunately happen almost every single show. If anyone reaches out to you saying, hey, I have the attendee list for the show, it is a scam. We do not sell our attendee lists. Please don't give any of these people your money. And they do also occasionally say they have our exhibitor list as well. If you're that curious on the exhibitors in the show, you can just go to the website. We have all of our exhibitors listed for anyone who's curious. And that is it. So thank you if you've made it this far in the webinar. Here is our information again. If you have any questions, once again, I am Lucy Ferguson. I'm your show manager. Not on here was Grenon Davis, and she is the sales rep. And odds are if you booked your booth, you talked to Grenon. And of course, we have Hannah with us. So thank you, everybody. And Hannah, do you have anything to add?
Looking forward to seeing you all and having a very successful show next month.
All right, we'll see everybody soon.